Welcome back to the channel. So this is a project that was inspired by a project that someone had posted in a Alcohol Inc. Facebook group. I'll post down below which group it was and whose post it was. So on the wood panel, I've got some texture paste. Now the sky, and you'll know later what the sky part is just regular texture paste. The water is Crackle texture paste. And then the sides for the trees is regular texture paste as well, but it was really old, so there was a lot of clumps and lumps in it. So I decided to use that up to create the texture. The part that is the sand is grit paste, so it's got a bit of a sandy texture to it. Right now I'm putting Mod Podge on it to seal it. Now this bottle of Mod Podge says matte, but it dried awfully glossy, and I've checked the bottle several times just to make sure that I was reading it correctly. So not sure why it ended up being super glossy, but I just figured I'd take you along for the ride and you could watch the process. This is just going to seal the texture paste in so the alcohol ink doesn't soak as much in it. The person that originally did the project that was inspired by this used gel medium. I didn't have any on hand, or the bottle I had was completely dried up, so I decided to use Mod Podge just because I had it and I didn't have to go and purchase something. So first thing I'm going to do here is the sky, and I'm just putting different colors of alcohol ink over isopropyl, and I'm just blending them around. And I really liked how the first version ended up turning out, and you'll see towards the end I got a couple splatters when I was doing the trees, so I decided to redo the sky, and I really wish I hadn't because it ends up looking a little bit muddy in my opinion, and the first version looks a little bit more clear and pretty. So I should have left those tiny little splatters there, but live and learn. So now I'm doing the water section. I'm just spreading it around with a silicone brush, trying not to put my fingers in it, but I just keep putting my fingers in it. And I do have this sped up to twice the speed, just to shorten the video a little bit. So this is the part, that's the sand part. So this is over the grit paste to give it a bit of a sandy texture. So I'm trying for a little bit of a stormy beach scene, but it's very abstract. It's not very detailed at all. So now I'm just adding a few different greens to the trees, letting them blend together. I'll have all the colors that I've used listed down below, as well as the other tools that I've used. And this is where I stopped, but I decided to try fix those stupid little splatters in the sky, which you probably don't even see because they were really actually quite tiny. But yeah, this is where the muddiness starts in the sky. So now I'm adding just some white mixative over where I'd like the white of the waves to be. Now it does reconstitute the alcohol ink underneath it, so some of it does get a little bit miscolored, but it's not too bad. After I've let this white dry, I put some pearl over it so it has a bit of a shimmer. Now taking a close look and realizing how muddy that sky looks, I decided to try fix it for a third time. So on the day that I was doing this project, all of my Foundry Waxes, my order happened to come in. So I decided to try them on this project. So I'm using the silver over top of the waves. Now, if you haven't heard of Foundry Wax, it is a liquid that has leafing in it. So you can paint it on whatever areas you're wanting. You have to work fairly quickly because it does dry fairly quickly. And then you use a heat gun, a heat tool, and that is going to bring out the leafing part of the wax. It's going to bring it to the surface. So I ended up using all 4 colors on here. The silver I used on the waves. The other 3 colors I used on the trees towards the sides. It just adds a different texture to it, a little bit of a metallic, and it was fun to play with. So I'll be playing with them more in future projects. And now my cheat for covering the sides super quickly with black is I'm using a very big Sharpie and quickly coloring all around the surface to cover any of the alcohol ink runs that have gone down the side. If you've stayed this far, thank you so much for watching this experiment. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you soon. Bye.